Hi everyone, we are from IMS Coimbatore and this is a short video on percentages. This is a part of a series of videos on quantitative aptitude topics. This topic we're going to talk about percentages and how to calculate percentages, a few shortcuts, and what is a percentage increase, what is a percentage decrease, and also look at some of the previous year CAT questions. So let's get started. So percentage means it is a part or a value of something. Okay, so when we look at 20% of 680, right? So the way we calculate the formula is 20 by 100 into 680. So as you know, if 680 is equivalent to 100, you're saying what will be 20th of it. So 20 by 100 into 680, we can write it as 0.2 into 680, which is actually 136. Or if you want to simplify, you can also write it as a fraction of 1/5 of 680, which is also 136. So when we write a percentage of B, when we want to calculate, what we do is we write A by 100 into B. So it's very important to understand that percentages do not exist independently. They're always a part of a value. Okay, when somebody says, my business has been growing at 5% every year, right? And another person says, my business is growing at 10% every year. Right? You can't directly compare these two percentages as just 5% is lesser or 10% is, greater. As a percentage value, of course, they are. But what it means is it is of the previous year value. So let's say this is a very small business. It's just 5 lakhs revenue on the previous year, right? And they say this is a 20 crore revenue. Now this has got higher growth in terms of value, right? When you take a percentage of 5% of 20 crore and you take 10% of 5 lakhs, obviously this value is much higher. So whenever we calculate percentages, be very mindful of calculating what this percentage is of. It's a percentage of a particular value. It's a percentage of B. So this is very, very essential to understand. So you can't just generally directly look at percentages and compare. All right. So the next one is another example that we have to calculate 14%, 14.28% of 56. Now, we saw you usually write it as 14.28 by 100 into 56. Now, if you're comfortable with doing all the multiplication calculation, that's fine. You can do it. It's going to take a longer time. That's all. So this would come to somewhere around 7.99, which is actually equal to 8. Another simpler way of doing it is this 14.28 percentage as a fraction is 1/7 of 56, which is 8. So you can convert this percentage as a fraction directly if this value is convenient to convert, and then multiply it with this 56 or whatever value you're trying to calculate and find the answer. Okay, so we're going to look at this in terms of how to commonly see a lot of percentages and then use them in calculating with ratios. Here is another example. where we're trying to calculate 4356 percentage of 50. Now, this is also conventionally what you would do is you would write 4356 divided by 100 into 50. Right? You would see this is half of 4356. Okay. So this value is 2178. Now, one thing which we talked about earlier is when we say a percentage of B, which is A by 100 into B. If you look at B percentage of A, that is B by 100 into A. Both these values are technically same. This is AB by 100. This is also AB by 100. So what it means is A percentage of B is the same as B percentage of A. So you can use this also to simplify your calculation of percentages. So your 4356 percentage of 50 is nothing but 50 percentage of 4356. So if you have a complicated value as a percentage and this value is simpler, you can just interchange and also find the percentage, which is the same. So it's basically half of 4356. So we looked at multiple ways where you can either convert a ratio to the percentage, or you can interchange the percentage, A percentage of B and B percentage of A, and calculate. So when we look at the ratios as percentage, it will be ideal if you can memorize this value, because you would know mostly these are all straightforward, like half is 20 percentage, but you have to be mindful of all the other values, like 1/6 is 16.66, 1/7 we saw is 14.28, and so on. Let's look at this example here, how to calculate 37.5 percentage of 24. Now, if you look at this particular value, you can still convert it as a ratio because this is a multiple of 12.5 percentage. Okay, so I can write 37.5 percentage as actually 3/8 because 12.5 percentage is 1/8, and 3 times this is 37.5 percentage. So this basically becomes 3/8 times 24, which is actually 9. Okay, so when you just look at ratios and convert to percentage, you can also use that as multiples of that so that it becomes easier. So for example, if you want 28.56% here, it becomes 2/7. Okay. So this is another way which will help you simplify and calculate percentages. Now let's look at percentage increase of a value and percentage decrease and see how we can calculate. Now let's say we want to calculate what is the percentage increase from 12 to 15. Let's say 12 students in a class has become 15 students. So if you want to find out what is the percentage increase. So this is the initial value. This is the final value. It will always be the difference between final value to initial value by initial value into 100. So for 12 to 15, we do 15 minus 12 by 12 into 100. So this is actually 3 by 12 into 100. It's 1/4 of 100, which is 25%. So we would say there has been a 25% increase from 12 to 15. This is how we calculate a percentage increase of a value. Now let's look at this example. 150 is increased by 20%. Okay, so the initial value here is 150 This has seen a 20% jump. And the question is, what is the final value? Okay. So the same thing is we take 150 and add 20% of 150 to it to get the final value. Okay, so this is 150 plus 1/5 of 150. Okay, it's 150 plus 30, which is 180. So if 150 is increased by 20%, it becomes 180. Now, let's look at another question of percentage increase. Now, something which is the initial value is increased by 50%. Let's take it as X has jumped by 50% to become 60. Now, the question is, what is the initial value? Okay. A very common mistake, what a lot of people would do is, if you take X and increase it by 50% to get 60, it is not the same as taking 60 and reducing it by 50%. Now, the reason is this 50%, you have to be careful of which value you're taking as 50%. This is always 50% of the initial value. It is not the final values 50%. So what we should do is we should take X and we should take 50% of X to make it as 60. 1.5x is 60. X is 60 by 1.5. So the value is 40. So 40 when increased by 50%, so which means you're increasing a value of 20 to get you 60. So this is the initial value and final value. The contrary, if you have taken 60 and reduced 50%, you would have got 30. It is not the same as 30. I increase it by 50% will not give me 60. It will give me only 45. So it is very critical when they say something is increased by 50% to give 60 or some final value. You should always be mindful of which percentage. It depends on how it is framed, a question is framed. So be very careful of what percentage you are taking. If it says something is increased by 50%, this is always, this particular value is 50%. So the final answer to this question is 40. So 40 increased by 50% becomes 60. Now let's look at percentage decrease. Similarly, to find what is the percentage decrease from 20 to 16. This is a final value, initial value. Now here when it is decreasing, the final value will be lesser. Now again, you have to be careful with the initial value. So the difference between the two. 20 minus 16 by the initial value into 100. So this is 4 by 20 into 100. So this is 20%, 1/5. So 20 is decreased by 20% to become 16. So it is a final initial value minus final value by the initial value into 100. That is how we find out percentage decrease in a value. Now let's look at this example. What is the value if 300 is decreased by 40%? So the question is, what is the final value? Now 300, you reduce 40% of it. 300. So it is 300 minus 120. So the final value is 180. So if 300 is decreased or reduced by 40%, it becomes 180. Now let's look at this example where a value is decreased by 20%. Similarly, let's take it as A. It is decreased by 20% to become 240. Again, we can't take a final value and add 20% or reduce 20%. Be very careful. The initial value is A, and that is reduced or come down to become 240. So we take A and reduce 20% of A. Just 20 by 100, I'm writing it as 0.2. Is becoming 240. So 0.8A is 240. So A is 240 by 0.8, which is nothing but 300. So the answer is 300. So if we take 300 and reduce 20% from that, you will get 240. So you're reducing actually the value of 60 here. So this is how we calculate percentage increase and percentage decrease, and how we also simplify calculation of percentages. Now these are the main concepts related to percentages. Now let's look at an old CAT question of how we can apply some of the concepts we've learned here to an actual CAT question. Now let's look at this particular question where it says Arun's present age in years is 40% of Barun's. In another few years, Arun's age will be half of Barun's. By what percentage will Barun's age increase during this period? All right, let's just jot down all information that is given and figure out how to find out the unknown. So what we have is Arun's age and Barun's age. That's what is given. And we have two time periods. One is the present age. Another is after some time, later age, later time. Okay. If I take a variable, let's take it as X. I'll take it as X for Barun. And then Arun's present age is 40% of Barun. I'll write it as 0.4x. So A is 0.4x. Okay. Another few years. Let's take this another few years as T years. Arun's age will be half of Barun. So after you're adding T years, this will become X plus T. And Arun's age would be half of this. So this will become half of X plus T. But again, this is also equal to half of X plus T is also equal to this value plus T years plus T. Okay, let me just simplify. So I have X plus T is 0.8x plus 2T. So I have T is equal to 0.2x. So if I replace this as 0.2x, so x, so the question is by what percentage is Barun's age increased during this period? So we're trying to find the percentage increase of by what percentage is this increase. So the initial value here is x, And then this is increased to x plus 0.2x, 1.2x. So x is increase in value is this 0.2x. So it is 20 percentage of x. So the percentage increase of boron is 20 percentage. That is the answer. Now I have another alternate way also of doing this, where we can take any particular value and it will work for the same thing. So let's take boron's age of some particular value. Usually if you take an age, it should be 10 years, 20 years, which is a bit convenient to calculate. Right? Let's take 20 as boron's age, okay, present age. And then if it is 40% of boron, this will become 8. Okay. Now I have to add few years so that this will become half of iron will become half of boron. So just by looking at the value, I can maybe add 4 years, right? So that this becomes 12 and this becomes 24. So essentially what we're looking at is what is the percentage increase from 20 to 24. So we're looking at 4 by 20 into 100, which is also 20%. This is another alternate simple way of calculating, because the percentage should work for any value. So even if you do it for 10 or 30 or other value, as long as all the criteria match, it should be the same percentage increase. Now let's look at another question. In an examination, the maximum possible score is n, while the pass mark is 45% of n. A candidate obtains 36 marks, but falls short of the pass mark by 68%. Which one of the following is then correct? So let's say the maximum score is 100, just as an example. We're saying the pass mark is 45. If somebody takes 36, they're short by the pass mark by 68%. Okay, the answer is not 100 because the values of n that is given is in the range of 200 something. Either it's less than 200 or 240, 252, 243, 252, it's 253 or greater, or it's between 201 and 242. So from the information given, the key part is the candidate obtains 36 marks and is short of the pass mark by 68%. So let me just draw this. Let's say the total score is n and the pass mark is 45% of n. Okay, this is the pass mark. Now candidate obtains 36 marks. Okay, and is short of the pass mark by 68%. Okay, this is 68% of the pass mark. Now what it means is I take 36 and I take 68% of the pass mark. That will be the total pass mark. Okay, which means this is nothing but 32% of the pass mark. This 36 is 32% of the pass mark. Okay, the pass mark I'll just write it as 36 by 32 into 100. I'll just write it as 9 by 8 into 100. I will leave it at that. That's the pass mark. I don't have to, since it's a fraction and a value, I'll try to minimize my calculations. Now we also know this pass mark is 45% of n. Okay, so I have 9 by 8 into 100 is 0.45. So n is 9 by 8 into 100. divided by 45 into 100. When I simplify, I will basically get this as 250. So since n is 250, the answer is option B, where it is between 243 and 250. Let's look at one other question before we wrap up the video, another cat question. Out of the shirts produced in the factory, 15% are defective, while the 20% of the rest are sold in the domestic market. If the remaining 8840 shirts are left for export, the number of shirts produced in the factory is the options. Okay. Now, the total number of shirts produced in the factory. So 15% is defective. Remaining is 85%. Now 20% of this 85% of the total number of shirts. Okay, so we have to be careful here. 20% of 85% of the total value. So this is actually 17% of the total value. Those are sold in the domestic market. So this becomes 15, this is 17. So the balance that we have so this is 85%. So of which 17 is sold in the domestic market. So this is 32, 68% of the total value is the remaining left. So that value is 8840. So 8840 is nothing but 68% of the total value. So you divide it, you will get it. Or you can also substitute from the options, right? This value is from the options, right? It's either 13,600, it's either 13,000, 13,400, or 14,000. I can just easily calculate from the last digit, just 8 and 6. The last digit should be 4, last non-zero digit. This multiplied 8 with 6 gives me 8. So this is not an answer. This multiplied with 8 gives me 4. So this is the answer actually. This 8 multiplied with 4 gives me 2. This 8 multiplied with 4 also gives me 2. So the answer is 13,000. Even if you want to calculate, you can try 13,000 into 0.68. That will actually give you 8840. So that's the end of this video. We looked at a few concepts on percentages and also looked at some old CAT questions. And thank you so much for watching. We'll continue to upload more videos of this same line. In case of any comments and feedback, please do let us know. And thank you so much. This is from IMS Coimbatore. We'll see you again. Thank you. Bye.